let's get this fucking fun train rolling.
Yeah.
Greetings,
paradise.
Oh yeah, greetings. Okay, hey, all right. Let me get the intro.
What's our number? Like 69.5 or?
We've
Yeah,
been
no.
going.
What?
Oh.
Fuck, God damn
Well,
it.
then that's the intro. Fuck it. Let's just go.
Greetings, salutations. And,
I tried saying it. You guys just kept talking.
and we just watched a fun time that was super fun. It's like, you know, jumping into a ball pit. It's that good of a time. We watched Last of Us episodes 4 and 5.
Yay, we're caught up now.
Yeah, hey, yeah, we did catch up. That's actually worked out well. Yeah, these episodes were pretty solid. Yeah, thanks, Kat.
Sorry, the cat's
No,
in
no,
heat.
no. Hang on. We need to get their input.
But yeah, what's your input, Kat?
What's the pussy implication?
He says his balls hurt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, we need to know if it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. We need to know its Metascore, and we need the fucking cat review.
Cat.
And apparently, the cat gives it 3 existential screams out of Misk.
So there were some changes from the way it was done in the games, and oddly enough, I think this is the first episode where I would say they had some changes that I liked and agreed with, and they had some changes that I was like, no.
Yeah. So let's get into the good. Let's start off with some positive things to say about it. Ellie's relationship with Joel is a lot of like it's starting to like
It's getting better.
Yeah, you could see them warming up to each other, and I feel like it's doing it in a really natural way. Because I was worried about like the way this show is kind of paced, like that would be kind of rushed, but like no, it's kind of like leaning into it, and it's kind of like being all right. So I'm not exactly hating it, and you know what I mean. That's pretty cool.
I mean, we kind of pointed this out after episode 4, but the way that thing that Ellie does to kind of gradually wear Joel down to kind of break through those walls, because he's pretty much decided flat out, I am not going to get attached to this kid. I'm
Ninja.
doing a job, and that's it.
Ninja, you're cutting into the mic. You're literally cutting your silver into the mic.
What?
But yeah.
Who keeps clanking something?
That's what I'm
Shut up.
trying to tell him to stop. Just mute. Hit the hot button. But
Anyway, yeah, the fact that in the game, all of that stuff with the puns and the jokes and trying to break down Joel's defenses to kind of make him get a little bit more attached, so because she's a kid, she wants to connect with people. That in the show, because it's a show, you can actually pace it out really well by just having like a basic rule of 3 thing. At the start of the episode, she does it. He's really not receptive at all. He just kind of brushes it off. Second time, he kind of engages a little bit, but it's like he's not getting into this. And then at the very end, to kind of cap off the episode, she actually gets one because they've just been through some horrific shit, and his defenses aren't what they should be, and a joke it just fucking cracks them, and they actually have like this nice little moment towards the end. In the game, at least from what I remember, that was kind of like incidental dialogue that just kind of propped up a little bit here and there as you were going through the mission with Ellie. So just did this kind of this ongoing thing of as you're playing, you can actually kind of notice that the dialogue between the two, it's just getting like a little bit warmer as you go along. But in the episode, because it's condensed down and it's just like 3 punches, 1, 2, 3, and then you kind of get a very tight arc of how that defense comes down. It's neat. It's a nice little change. It's a
the problem
punchy narrative trick.
I wouldn't say it's a problem with the game, but yeah, the game kind of spreads it out a little bit, obviously, because of
It's just the nature of the 2 different mediums. Because if you tried to do it like 1, 2, 3 punch in a game, you'd have like in 1 hour of gameplay, probably like 1 mission, you go from walls up to walls down, and then you just have all of this the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So you're either cutting dialogue or you're not doing something else. It's just rule of adaptation. Work with the medium you're in. So I'd say that's
Well, but I
actually
don't
one of the
always
things that's
agree with
adapted
that because
better.
that's the reason they got rid of the spores was because of the gas mask, and that's a stupid fucking reason.
that's different. Work with the medium you're in. K- The fact that they wanted to show the actors' faces, that's not a consequence of it being on TV. That's a consequence of the producers and Hollywood behind the scenes bullshit. That has nothing to do with it being a movie or a TV show. That
Mhm.
has nothing to do with
Well,
the
but
medium.
it's
That
a
has to do with production.
general, I guess, but it's just a general thing in any TV or movie that they don't put the masks on as much as humanly possible.
But that's like I said, that's not because it's TV. That's because of other reasons to do with like actors and their careers. And there's nothing about shooting a story as a movie versus writing it as a book that predicates whether you have masks or you don't. The no mask thing, that's an entire real world actors want their faces on screens thing. That's not really working with the medium. That's, I guess, working with the politics of how productions get done.
Oddly enough, I don't even think this was the actors this time. I think it was the
No, it
director.
wasn't. That's
No,
what I'm
it's
saying. It was the
production.
creator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's producers and the media machine that churns this stuff out. This is how they prefer to do things. They
Mm-hmm.
want actors' faces on screens, and sometimes that works really well because with real actors you can get a lot more emotion across at certain key moments. But even in the game, for a lot of those like really heavy, punchy moments, I think most of those happened without masks anyway.
Exactly. Like they still were like not in spore territory. Like it was more of like a mechanic than actually like impacting the story at all. But
It
I guess for me, it's just a weird disconnect because I thought the concept of the spores with them basically being mushroom people was not only that makes sense, but it also kind of added this layer of like it's a really cool mechanic to add to the zombie genre, and it added that extra layer of tension that's like you don't even have to get bit. You can just get fucked up by spores. Like if you hang out in the wrong places for too long, fuck it, you're infected.
yeah. But I feel like the general threat of like cuz these zombies in this are a lot more swarmy than the ones in fucking Last of Us. Like in Last
Well, I
of Us,
think they're taking advantage of because like a sequence like that in the game would basically be like unfucking fair. Like there's no way you could win that because remember, Last of Us, like most survival horror games, is like resource management.
yeah, but
So
even
you're
like
not going to fight swarms like that.
well, like but the thing is even when you're in the tower with the infinite ammo sniper rifle, like you only see about like 20 or 30 like on the fucking screen at a time. I feel like there's a limitation though of like AI and like actual like inner things for the game because like that's just the thing with like Dynasty Wars and shit like that. They just can't put that many people on a screen.
yeah,
But
wasn't
more
Days
mechanical
Gone?
limitation. Like they just
Yeah.
wouldn't swarm you that way. They would have had a built-in thing. The the tech of the PS3 when it originally came out absolutely could have handled more than 30 models.
Well, it's not just the models though. You got to remember there's like they have rigging, they have
No, I
AI.
mean everything. It could handle more like NPC characters because we had other games that did that. We had tons.
We did, but like I said, like I don't know. I was
I don't
'Cause
think the PS3 was
I
limited in that
No, well,
particular way.
at the same time, like Naughty Dog shoved a lot of shit into Last of Us, like Joel's punch lasers, for example.
yeah,
There's
like
there's just so
all
much
that.
shit that's just in the game that I bet like programming a sequence like that would have actually been a nightmare.
Yeah. Maybe you could say that's maybe a limitation of the team itself and not the game, but that is what like they decided to do. And I feel like for the show, they have more of a chance to actually do like a World War Z, like 28 days later of like holy fuck, there's a billion of them coming at us.
Do you think they did the bloater justice?
well, we'll get
Was
there.
that a bloater?
It's apparently
I
it
That's what I
I
it
thought it was
thought
the
it
other
was.
I
thing.
I have
no
some thoughts on the bloater
the
actually.
there was a really neat thing where it killed Virgil by just ripping his head off. But if you pay attention, it's the exact same animation that happens if it gets you in the game.
Yeah,
That
I
that
was.
like that like that almost like bothered me how accurate that was. You know what I mean?
There's nice
Like,
little nods every once in a while. Like I don't know if you noticed in the last episode, the pulling away through the window almost perfectly. Like it was. not perfectly mimicked, but it came pretty damn close to the opening, like the menu shot.
Yeah. That's what I was that's too. But yeah, like I said, I got weird things with the bloater and like the infected in general with this uh episode.
Oh, are you referring to Infected Ex Machina?
Yeah, like, that's a good thing that like they decided to be groundhogs, and even though they were bursting through the storage room, they decided to come fucking I don't know, like 20 blocks to the left, and that's just right where it's convenient for our fucking for our heroes to get out of the situation.
Well, yeah, it's like they specifically go down into these tunnels where they're supposedly all at, and there's nothing. They find no remnants, no nothing. Everything's fine, and they're like,
Because
"Oh,
they
we get
hid
out.
them
We're
all
home
into
for."
that guy's house.
Apparently, this random fucking house was just ground zero for infected hoarding.
So what you
Like
didn't know.
maybe he had some shit in the basement. I don't know, but it almost looked like a fucking sinkhole opening up. Which I
Yeah,
mean, sure, fine, whatever. But
Well, isn't that what they kind of set up earlier? Where whatever it is that I actually thought it was something else. You know how in the earlier episodes you had that thing with the spores, like they were growing underground and shit. I thought that's what that was setting up, where they
Oh,
found
that
this
the
one
tendrils
building.
got bigger or something?
Or yeah, just like they shoved all of the infected down underground where they just like they do the mushroom thing and they disintegrate into like the walls and stuff. So now underneath the city was just this massive fucking colony of the fungus. And parts of the
that would
city
have
were starting
made
to like
more
lose
sense
structure.
if we saw some of that in the little tunnels they went through.
See,
yeah. The
that's
tunnels.
what kind of bothers me about the underground scenes because I thought that that's what that was setting up. So
Yeah,
when they says like, "Hey, there's a bunch of tunnels underground. They shoved all the zombies down there and then they cleared it out. It's good." I was thinking, "Oh no, we know that it's not good because of that thing they set up earlier." So now I'm wondering what the fuck it was it that they set up earlier. What was the thing that she's not telling the people?
and like the fact that they're like fucking like graboids, like they're like bursting through the fucking concrete. It's like what is this? I don't. Uh, it's a very weird thing to set up, and like I feel like it's a very poor setup because of how it pays off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we see it's not even much setup and payoff. It just set up and then it happens.
Yeah, but it happens,
It's
and
completely unrelated to
but it
like
happens. But the problem is, it happens in convenience of saving our fucking
yeah,
characters.
that's what makes it even worse.
And like I said, it's a good thing that they're also. It's not only a few zombies, but it's a shitload. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah, it's
especially
exactly how
infected.
many they needed.
Hmm.
Also, did you notice that clickers follow the ninja rule, where the more of them are on screen, the weaker each individual one is? Because at one point, Ellie killed one by stabbing it in the neck with a knife.
Yeah,
That's
that was
true.
that's
Yeah, which
weird.
didn't make any fucking sense.
Also, it's very strange that a clicker in the middle of a fucking giant battle royale decides to slow down and try to get to Ellie inside the fucking car. Why did it do that? Aren't the infected like frying?
Wouldn't the echolocation be like going fucking nuts?
Well,
Like you
yeah,
wouldn't
like
really be able to
Yeah,
tell what
it
anything
would
is.
I
it would be running towards
I,
somebody shooting. That's the thing.
I don't even
Finding
like.
anything that's being even like slightly quiet in that fucking melee would have been nearly impossible for
Yeah, I
someone to use
think the clicker
echolocation.
would have just been just.
No, it would
I
have been
feel like it
going like
just would have been dazed and confused and just
it wouldn't.
flailing.
Unless,
No, it
see,
wouldn't
I
Well, I
even
think
mean,
they
be.
just did
it's
the
the
classic zombie movie thing where most zombie movies they can find you by smell, or they there's something like that. So it's like they were having that clicker operate on that logic, even though that's not how they set them up.
It's literally not how they
Right.
work. Like, it's so stupid.
I just feel like it would be the equivalent of being like overstimulated. Like you'd be trying to echolocate. There's so many noises and shapes and things. Like you wouldn't really be able to tell what anything fucking is.
Yeah, that's why most of them were just like fucking spasmoid, arms flailing, just running in the direction of anything and just grabbing whatever they ran into. And
Hmm.
anytime they like move towards gunfire, like the opening of the horde scene, it followed the logic pretty well.
Yeah,
Because, oh no, zombies came towards the big explosion and noise, and now they're rushing out because they think there's food here. We have to shoot them because they're running at us and they know that we're going to be food. But when we shoot at them, they know where we are. So now they're going to go towards the gun noises. And oh no, it's a fucking brawl. It's a
yeah,
ballroom
Yeah.
blitz. Everything's crazy. Okay, so far so good. Then you have Joel's aim alternating between like realistic,
Super
shaky, but he can
precise.
still get shots off. But between that and then fucking going absolute gamer god mode, 360 no scoping motherfuckers on the fly as Ellie was moving from one car to another.
Yeah, it was very uh, uh, like I said, I feel like it was more of a set piece action moment than like a actual like thought out thing, which is really fucking bothersome because it's like you should like every aspect of your fucking media should be treated with the same care. You know what I mean? Like if your writing is good, your choreography should be good. If your choreography is good, your cinematography should be good. And this show does a lot of really good things. So the fact that it lacks so hard in the action bits is kind of lame.
It does feel like the logic they use to have certain things happen is, oh, it's an action scene. This kind of thing happens in action scenes,
Hence why
Mm.
Joel had
rather than
unlimited
here's
ammo
a problem.
again.
Uh, that one I can excuse because like the guy was up there in a fucking sniper nest. He would have had ammo with him. I
Yeah.
can just headcanon that Joel was using that.
And I
That's not a
really
problem with
and
me.
I really appreciate Joel saying it's dark and you can't aim for shit. And we get up there and yeah, it's a fucking crippled old man. And boy, oh boy, did I love the fucking please don't do that. He starts to swing the gun. We cut to Ellie here and we hear pop. It's like, ooh.
Yes.
But what I
It's
didn't like
like
about that is I don't think there had been enough, like all the shots they showed him shooting at them,
Mhm.
like he was a pretty good fucking shot. Like I don't think there was enough information for Joel to be like, oh, he's a shit shot.
Maybe, but like he did have
I
his
can
head exposed.
swing it that like he was kind of exaggerating his chances a little bit to kind of comfort Ellie. A
Hmm.
little bit. Like it's dark and Joel knows like, okay, he's not a bad shot, but he's not a fucking gamer god like me.
Yeah,
So I'll probably be fine. And then he's like, Ellie, it's dark, he's shit, it's gonna be Gucci.
yeah. And to be fair, that is kind of set up in the last episode too, because he's like, "Don't worry, they're not going to shoot at you. Don't worry, they're not going to shoot at you." How the fuck do you know that? But I feel like that's him lying to her to like get her to go. What's that called? Like not a white lie, but like a lie to encourage or whatever.
Reassuring falsehood.
I guess I don't know the word. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like the idea of like it's okay, dude. They're like it's like no, you're like it's kind of like the idea of like telling Sam he's a fucking superhero. It's like you're not actually a fucking superhero, but like that's enough to get your confidence up to actually keep moving.
Yeah, I liked the majority of the action sequence. I don't necessarily like how they like fitted it into the rest of the story, you know?
Yeah.
They just kind of sandwiched it in there because they're like, well, we need something to happen and we need, these guys are clearly in a bad spot. They're outnumbered, they're overwhelmed. Like,
Oh,
how are our heroes going to escape?
they're literally in
Oh,
the worst.
zombos.
They're literally in the worst spot fucking possible. Like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way they could have gotten out without a Deus Ex Machina, and I feel like that's also a bit of bad writing where it's like, oh, you literally put yourself into this corner that you have to literally split the fucking earth open and let out the horde to save your fucking people. Like you didn't
Yeah.
actually have to do it that way. You could have had it like have her and that like and Virgil show up like just like by themselves because the other army was like because the idea is that the army was like, dude, we're not wasting our resources on just these two fucking black people. Like chill. You know what I mean? So you could have had it where like could only convince him to go with him, and that could have been like a good like set piece without even having any infected. Like you could have had a good like show off, and that's kind of what I thought they were doing with that guy. I keep calling him Virgil because he looked like he was being set up to be like fucking Joel's nemesis.
Well, you could have also had like because even before the infected showed up, there was a lot of like explosion, shooting, noise.
Mhm.
You could have just had infected come from somewhere else. They literally didn't need to like pop out of dude's basement.
You mean kind of like in the fucking game where they kind of just
Yeah.
stringling in after? Because like, do you remember that sequence in the game? Like you basically sneak up on the sniper, you take him out, and you get his nest, and he's got and you have infinite ammo, so it's like a turret section, and you fight off a bunch of the scavengers, but like the infected slowly start rolling in, and it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now there's way too many. We have to run. We can't actually like Joel can't actually kill them all. He has to go. Like I said, there's a couple of things that I feel like the game just does better. Like, it's a weird thing. I hate the adaptation argument, but it's like I can't. I feel like it's impossible to do it for Last of Us.
It's really hard not to acknowledge it when the game does it better, especially when they're using so many like one-to-one dialogue or one-to-one references.
Mhm.
You know, it's hard not to compare it to the game because it's like they clearly want you to.
Yeah,
Well, comparing it to the game is not the same as the adaptation argument. The adaptation argument is it's bad because it's not like the original thing. We're
Mhm.
not saying it's bad because it's not like it. We're saying we've seen this exact thing, but a better version of it before. So we're able to like draw a comparison and see where things went a little fucky.
yeah,
Or see, much like this example, where there was actually a much more reasonable and grounded and easy to buy way to play this out. And we know that because we've seen it.
yeah.
Like, we're not saying it's bad because it's not like it. We're saying it has some flaws, and there's a version like this that doesn't have these flaws.
And I feel like
So it's different.
and I say, and I feel like it's almost, I feel like it's doubly impossible when they're just straight up one-to-one things. Like I mentioned it before we started recording. My favorite scene in the entire game is Joel and Ellie in the truck, like putting the tape in, them joking about how old the tape is, Ellie fucking going, whatever, and then pulling up the magazine and like, that whole like exchange. Like the way Troy Baker and is it Ashley Johnston?
Yeah.
But the way like they interact with each other and the way they deliver the lines, it's really well done. But like it just feels like in the show they're just trying to say the lines, like just they're just reading the lines one to one. Like I said, we're probably going to do a wrap up of the entire season, and I really want to pull up some comparisons so like people so the normies could see exactly what I'm talking about where it comes to like the comparison from one to the other, because like it's a night and day difference of how much better the game is compared to the show.
It'll be a copyright nightmare, but I'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out. But just like I said, the idea of like just the one to one things, it's like that. Like the show is doing it. I can't not acknowledge that the show is not doing it.
And sometimes it does it really well. Other
Sometimes
times,
it does
less
it really well.
so.
Sometimes it does it really good.
So hold
Not
on.
that it's the most important thing, but I mean, compared to other video game media out there, would we say this is, you
Oh
know,
no, like
towards the top tier
this
or
is fucking up there. Like that's the
Oh
thing.
yeah.
There is a very fucking low bar when it comes to video game
What
adaptations.
there used to be like it seems to like
it's
just
getting
expand
better?
the spectrum where there's some video game tie-in properties that are just they are beyond dog shit. And
Yeah.
then in the last few years, for some fucking reason, we've had a few that are really good, or depending on opinion with Arcane, at least pretty competent.
Yeah, but can you? But besides Arcane, can you point a couple of the good ones out to me?
Sonic.
Cyberpunk.
Fuck, Sonic is actually good. Cyberpunk. Fuck. Okay. Well, you know what? Fair enough.
I
I'll
was
give you
about to
that.
bring up
Give,
how
give me,
is
give
it
me a
is
third
it
one. Give me a third one.
uh
Is there a third
wow, we are dropping the ball.
Sonic 2.
No.
Fuck you.
No.
Fine.
No, do not allow that one.
No,
That's
fuck you.
it's a sequel to the same thing.
How do you
The Witcher TV show was like okay-ish
No,
for
it
one
wasn't.
season, and then
No, the fuck it
Nope,
was not.
you are
it
wrong
did
on this
some
one.
things okay.
Nope.
Like Henry
Nope.
Cavill pretty much
Negative.
carried the entire.
Yes,
fucking
the casting was all right, but the writing was absolute dog shit.
yeah, the story was shit.
Yeah.
There's more to it than that. I'm just saying
Hold on.
overall.
Does that mean you would give
compared
points
to
to
a-
Willem Dafoe in Death Note?
Yes,
Well, yeah, actually.
he is the
Ew.
only good thing about watching that fucking dog shit movie.
Yeah, I fucking despise that movie. Willem Dafoe did a good job. Nobody else did. Nothing else was good about that fucking movie. But
That's the thing.
Dafoe was good.
And also, like, remember my comparison here. I'm saying as a video game tie-in thing, compared to the decades of fucking Resident Evil movies,
all the fucking Uwe Boll movies, the fucking Blood Rain.
Well, I was actually about to bring up how, like, is it weird? Like, of all things, is it weird that Doom went from like a somewhat bad movie to just
Doom.
completely awful? Like, it's weird. Like, you think that would only after the Rock movie, you think the only direction they would have gone would have been up, and somehow Doom Annihilation was worse.
Yeah,
Dude, Doom Annihilation was like a fucking B movie. Like that shit probably went straight to DVD. Like I don't even think
It
that
did.
shit
It went straight to
theaters.
Netflix.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, like, oh my god, I fucking hate this movie. I hate that fucking movie. Anyway, we're not talking about fucking like series destroying genre shifts. We're talking about how Last of Us does. And yeah, I guess what we said, yeah, it's up there for adaptations, and I'd probably argue it's the best one so far. At least
I don't know. We want to make a call like that
Live-
until after the
Yeah,
season.
we're not done
I would
yet.
say that's why I said so far, but as of
Okay.
live action adaptations for a video game, I feel like this one's doing really fucking good.
Live action adaptations, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it has very little competition.
That's why,
to be
like I said,
fair.
I'm leaving Arcane and fucking Cyberpunk out of this. Like we're just going off of like I said, all I'm thinking of is like the Uwe Boll and like the Dead or Alive movie and god awful Resident Evil movies.
What
Or
about the
that
Mark
fucking
Wahlberg?
Dragon Ball movie.
No, what about the
Shut!
Mark
It's not a-
Wahlberg Max Payne movie? You guys remember that?
Oh my god, the Max Payne movie!
Where like
They're actually fucking Valkyrie. Okay, no, we're not doing it. So the change to make a Sam, which I feel like I always
Sam,
mix up.
yes, the
Henry
little
is
brother.
the older one. Sam is the little brother. The
Yes.
idea of making Sam deaf, it's an odd choice.
It felt unnecessary.
I don't know if I like it or not, because like, so once again, this is probably, I'll admit this is subjective. It just feels like they're trying to go for like a little bit of Oscar baity kind of thing.
So just to be
Everybody talks
clear,
about the deaf episode in what's that fucking show about the killer? Ninja. We watched that show.
Dahmer.
Dahmer, yes. That whole episode was fantastic, and it did a really good job of showing like how a deaf person like would interact with the world. Like it does like a whole POV shift to like a deaf person, and it does it really well.
just to
Feels
be
like
clear,
this is trying to get on that.
I wanted to quickly ask. It was deaf, right, and not nonverbal autistic. I just wanted to.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're
so
autistic.
he literally
he's
had
deaf.
to ask people what other people had said because he
Or-
couldn't read their lips.
And it was a really smart thing of having him not react to like fucking gunshots at shots.
Yeah.
Where the fuck would he know?
Was just
Yeah.
He
was just
still
double
deaf.
checking.
Because the gunshots go off. His Henry has to grab him, bring him down, and then he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Gunshots." Like, oh, okay.
All
I
right.
guess my thing is like it feels like one of those changes that just didn't really add anything.
In fact, I feel like it actually took away because like
It created a barrier between him and Ellie in the communicate, because that's one of the things, like the fact that their friendship is able to develop so quickly, is kind of the whole point. It's like it influences why Henry and Joel work together for as long as they do.
yeah, and I will say that like if you remove the game completely from the show, I feel like it was done okay. But like with the game, like there, it's like you didn't have to do that. Like that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. Sir, what do you think?
Watching Ellie overcome the communication barrier, I think that actually did add one thing, which is just the bonding exercise of overcoming a common obstacle. But I don't know if that like just outweighs the benefit of having them be able to build a relationship the way they did in the game.
I guess I
It's a
just feel
weird
like they
comparison to make.
already had stuff to bond over. They were both kids trying to survive in an apocalypse. Like,
It also felt like he was way younger in the game. I always thought they were it felt like they were the exact same age.
what did he say? He was 8.
Yeah, he's 8 in this.
Yeah, he's like a full decade younger than.
I would say I don't remember what he said in the game. Like, if they ever actually bring that up.
They don't bring it up. It's just they're
way-
around the
yeah,
same height. They're
Yeah, I was about to say the same height or the same kind of like attitude kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like it's very implied that it's like around the same age.
Yeah, I will say, if you wanted to make an argument for him having hearing loss, the fact that he had leukemia, like I know offhand that like hearing loss is a thing that can happen as I think it's either from complications with it or
Yeah, I'm
some
not.
of
Yeah,
the
like I
treatment
said,
of it.
I'm not
Like,
saying that it's a. I'm not saying like it's unfitting or anything. It's actually
but
surprisingly
I'm just
good.
saying it's like it might not be completely arbitrary. Like
Yeah.
they could be like making the reality that he was a leukemia kid try to
Mhm.
seem a bit more relevant
Yeah, and like
I
I said,
was
or make a bit more sense.
if this was like
well.
a
Speaking
different
of
like
the
thing, then I could see that like being a thing. But like,
with the leukemia, it was very interesting how Kathleen at the last second became like a cartoon villain.
yeah, no, they fucking all right. You will okay.
I know
Fuck.
your kid was
We're,
dying, but
we're
kids die, so fuck them.
we're gonna fucking talk about Kathleen. She was fucking stupid. Like there was nothing at all redeeming about her. She was not intimidating. She was told that she was really smart off screen. Your brother didn't lead us here. You did. It's like, oh really? Where? How? When? Like what? Like you know what
It
I
did
mean?
that reassuring thing.
And it's like, oh, I'm so sweet. No, I'm not sweet. I'm really evil. It's like, oh, thanks for like
Speaking of that scene,
no time.
well, like, okay, so we're calling him Virgil, right?
Yeah, I'm just calling it. Like,
Okay, so Virgil comes into the room where she's hanging out, and she's like, "Oh, how'd you find me?" So clearly, she kind of went off by herself or whatever. Why was he coming? Why did he come to get her? Like, we never actually found out what that was about.
His answer was,
Leader!
"We didn't know where you were, so I went to your mom, and she said you would be here." We
I
don't know
thought that
why he
was-
was
But
looking for her in the
why?
first
I
place.
thought that was them
We
showing
don't
that they
know.
were kind of having a thing. It's
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, that they were like, oh yeah, I had to find you.
No, he basically just shows up and tells her she's awesome.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's what
much, yeah.
mechanically that's what it says in the script. I thought like
Virgil's
in
a fucking
universe.
simp.
Even though,
I mean, he did die for her, literally.
and it's like,
Yeah.
even though earlier, like it's shown that like Virgil's clearly way more competent than she is, but he's just.
Oh,
fucking-
dude, when they came out of things like, "Oh, are we really gonna like put them on trial and all that?" When she just like started throwing her fucking "I'm the leader now" dick around, I thought we were gonna get some kind of hint that he was plotting to overthrow her, because he was the one actually commanding the troops. She was just going around being a sadistic, weird fucking cartoon villain.
Yeah,
It's to the point where Virgil even had to give her the flashlight.
yeah, and like I said,
Did it feel good when you turned in your neighbors?
why? Why is he like that?
This is the work of Henry. I want all these troops to go out there door to door and kill them. I know there are other priorities, and there's like a whole fucking city. And
Oh, I
we
can't
have
tell.
the protection force, but he's my number one priority. Is he a seventh priority to you, Virgil? And Virgil's like, "No, mommy, no, she's not."
I can't tell if you're threatening me or you want to sell me cookies.
Like, bitch, shut up. Go in the kitchen. Like,
Well, and what's weird is like there are ways to take that sort of timid, mousy type of person and really sell the intimidating factor.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't
They didn't do
even
that at all.
try. Like
Well,
they didn't even
it's
try.
because they had her like throw around this sort of big boss bitch kind of dialogue, but she doesn't have boss bitch energy.
yeah.
She definitely doesn't have the voice for it.
Terry was awesome to like give that bitch boss energy. You know what I mean? Like she did, it wasn't it, Chief.
Kids die.
Kids die.
They literally they did the fucking horror movie comeuppance thing. She's pointing the
here's
gun
the
at
thing,
them.
like you could make the argument that she's trying to be a realist in the sense that she's not wrong. Kids do die every day. Like even in our time pre-apocalypse, that's a true statement.
Mm.
However, you pair that with, well, the whole world doesn't revolve around your little brother. And it's like, well, yeah, the whole world doesn't revolve around your dead brother either, bitch. Like nothing she was
that
saying
whole
made sense.
speech. Yeah, especially like, do you think he's worth it? Do you think he's like the world's like? Yeah,
So
literally, yes, he does. That's how this works.
That's the whole point.
What happened was after she said that really fucked up thing, I thought Joel was gonna dome her.
I thought that was gonna happen too.
Here's the thing, because
That would have been nice.
no, because that would piss off and trigger Joel. You know what I mean? Because that is literally
Wait, could he actually hear any of that?
Probably not.
no, that's the whole thing. It's like he was literally listening.
I mean, he might have the script in his pocket though.
So yeah, but like she's also talking like this, but it's also carrying down the block. You know what I mean? Like, because they show us
All the while there's
She's got that badass lapel mic.
all the while there's a car just burning.
Squeaks.
All the while there's like a car burning next to her. So it's like, oh, maybe we'll like you can't stop.
No, dude, there was no car because obviously that would be making noise. You fucking idiot.
That's
dumb.
Yeah, the fire was very polite. It kept its.
yeah. It's like, oh, sorry, you're monologuing. I'll be quiet.
So we just tone it down for a minute.
Oh wait, the action scene's about to happen. Let me sinkhole.
And there's my cue.
His shit was on cooldown, and then as soon as it came up, he
this is when we
his
find
ulti.
out, like, The Last of Us, like the Truman Show. There's just somebody behind like the control room, and sinkhole.
You know what's funny? I always pictured that for like a Left 4 Dead kind of TV, like a movie or show. Where
Isn't that literally what they call the AI? They call it the control room or something.
But like,
It's the director.
As a media, like as a TV show, I feel like the director should actually have a presence. But that's a different thing. But yeah, no, I fucking hated her, and I thought Virgil was going to be a lot more present, and he just kind of gets jobbed out to a bloater. To be fair, I guess getting jobbed out to a bloater is pretty baller, but like the fact that he unloaded his clip into the fucking bloater, saw it didn't work, and then reloaded and did it again. Also, what is the reverse of shooting all of your bullets? So like when when action movies where a guy has a gun and he basically has an infinite ammo. What is it called when you put in a magazine? You fire 3 times and you're out of bullets.
It's called getting nerfed so that the animation for the death scene can happen.
Basically. Because like it's the exact opposite of that problem. It's like, no, you only fired a couple of times. Also, you know that firing doesn't fucking work, so why?
The script said he needed to die.
Yeah.
Well, he was spamming the reload, but it was already caught in the animation.
You run and take cover. Despite these things not shooting you, they're going to probably jump over the cover, but don't worry about that.
What would have been worse if he pulled out his pistol? Because it's like, yeah, if your AR wasn't working, then a pistol wouldn't work either.
It was like
because I've seen I think we've seen moments like that in like other shows where it's like, oh, clearly our assault rifles aren't working, but our pistols will. It's like,
well, usually the one I'm thinking of is in Predators, where it's actually just a desperate attempt, and if you remember, that movie does it really well because when she gets to the bottom of her mag, she
saves the last bullet for herself. No, I'm thinking of something else. It'll come to me later, but there is a moment where it's like clearly our assault rifles weren't working. I'll use my pistol then.
Like, I mean, I feel like in that moment, like you're gonna try everything. You know what I mean? Like you're not just gonna stand back and go, "Oh, okay. Well, since the rifle didn't work and I've got a fully loaded pistol here, I'm just gonna let this thing murder me."
Yeah.
I'm not saying just let it murder you. That's not the solution either.
Well, Virgil decided to let it murder him because
that's literally what he did. He just
that's what he did.
Like, oh god.
Yeah. Which sucks because, like I said, I thought he was actually a really cool design. I thought he was gonna be.
It was like, I was simping too hard.
Yeah, it was like a really nice costume design.
It turns out the bloater is actually just extremely based, and he punishes those who simp.
Yeah, because notice he only went after him.
Oh yeah, well he was like, oh, I'm done. There's
no there's that one guy
came out the hole and annihilated that dude.
Yeah, that one guy just fucking rushed.
Oh yeah. Well, how do you know that he wasn't a simp?
That guy was hyper cringe.
Yeah, so you don't know.
Yeah, see, that guy was a tier 3.
I mean, they were all following.
Fucking got.
I mean, they were all following Kathleen, so yeah, they were all simps anyway.
The bloater comes out and was like, "Pay pig."
That's good shit. Thank you. Yeah, no. Kathleen Kennedy and Virgil.
I was waiting for that joke to be made.
But like I said, I said it before the pre-recording. I just feel like she's about to tell my parents like I did bad in the cafeteria.
She does really remind me of, like, in primary school or like whatever the American equivalent is. That one teacher who, even though she had this like really soft kind of voice, but as soon as you were in her class for more than like a couple of weeks, you realize, like, oh, she's a cunt.
She's a shitty person. Yeah. I feel
Like actively enjoys punishing children.
what do I say? Those who can't do, teach. um,
I feel like she's.
I
Those who
would've
can't
liked
teach
to
become revolutionary
see-
leaders.
I feel like she's gonna
Yeah.
report me for grilling in a fucking public park.
I would have liked to see more of her and what was her? Was it Matthew or Max? Her brother?
brother.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more of that in like flashbacks, or it was like all of that, and it's like, oh well, we don't have time. No, no, no. You could have gotten rid of 90% of the Bill and Frank shit. I would have been more interested in what's going on with this chick
Yeah. Well,
and the whole like Kansas City, rebellion and all this stuff. It's like all of that would have been interesting world building to cover. But no,
Well,
we just all that shit happens off screen. We're just supposed to go, oh yeah, she's the leader because
that was
Well,
also-
her
So-
brother was the leader and he died, so
On
obviously
a
she just took over.
but she's
on
got
a
a
side
brother.
note, on a side note, did we ever? Was it ever said in the what the city was in that level of the game?
What? It doesn't matter. It probably was on a highway sign, but like I said, it's literally where the bad guys are.
Right.
Like I said,
It was nice.
It's less about the setting, and more so about like what's going on there.
Right. That's why I was saying a side note. It just felt nice to see little snippets back of home, essentially, while covered in vines.
Yeah, I was really so I got a little bit of whiplash, honestly, with like it's like, oh, she's a sympathetic character. Like they're going like the she's going to, she's sad about her brother, but also she like murdered a bunch of fucking civilians and shit like that by burning them alive.
And
And it's
murdered
like,
a doctor.
oh, all of like it's like, oh, this bandit, he's sad and he doesn't want to get killed by Joel. But it's like, oh, but you were like totally strangling him and fucking trying to like lure people in here to kill.
I say, did it feel like they were doing the Last of Us 2 thing in that scene? Because it felt like they were leaning into that shit hard.
Well, it felt like it, and then the fucking beginning of episode 5 happens where they're literally fucking uh what was the
They
fucking...
got Brian!
No. Well, that, but I'm talking about the beginning of episode 5
Yes.
where they're literally just fucking like they're stringing people up, they're hanging people.
Oh yeah.
Slowly, they're breaking their bones. They're literally dragging a guy who got stabbed 40 fucking times. It's like, yeah, you kind of like removed any chance of me giving a fuck about these people. Like,
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
be
yeah.
sympathetic because he
Well-
has a name.
Well,
it's
here's
like,
the.
no, that's not how that works.
Also, let's not forget that she stupidly just killed probably one of the only doctors left.
Well, okay, but to be fair, he was being like a shitty fucking, person. Like that's the whole thing. He wasn't innocent either. He was part of the quote unquote not the rebellion, but like
He was a collaborator.
He was a collaborator. So it's like, okay, so he is not innocent in this. Like he is
Right.
against them. He is the enemy as far as she's concerned.
How do you know
Hey.
that she didn't actually shoot him? We didn't see it.
Yeah, it happened off screen.
What? She just fucking missed, or is she just that bad of a shot?
Hey, you don't know how good of a shot she is. Did she hit anybody else with her gun? I don't think so.
She didn't even fire it. That's what I was saying. I love how her death scene was such a cliche like horror movie villain thing. She points
Oh, yeah,
it, and then the fucking monster just jumped on her.
The fact that clicker literally hit his time 2 fucking speed and like just fucking flew at her. It's like, oh, you were really like uncharacteristically fast for that kill. All right.
They just wanted that shot.
Maybe you'll notice that. Is that just me?
No, yeah, I
the
noticed
animation
it.
looked a little weird.
Like fast. Like it looked like it was.
I think
like,
that's since it was the same child clicker. I think they were trying to go for the implication that those are faster.
no. It's a shame that it wasn't that fast when climbing through the fucking car. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know
exactly.
about like it's fine if it's faster, but you can only control moving through the air so much.
No,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
being smaller doesn't give you control over physics.
Yeah.
That's what you think, motherfucker.
Shit.
Air resistance, so she was able to fly faster than she could run.
Wait, Slayer, you're a leprechaun. Does that mean if we just drop you, you'll slowly float to the ground?
Well, yeah, I'm immune to fall damage.
Well, no, the leprechaun's magic, dude. Come on, fucking follow along.
Yeah, featherfall.
Yeah.
This had a lot of great moments. Kathleen was just not one of them.
Yeah, like
I would say she is the weakest part of that episode, which otherwise, for reasons we haven't actually even touched on yet, because we're just not on it.
Mhm.
The weakest part of an otherwise very good episode,
Yes.
mostly. Because we've talked about like the action scene, we're talking about Kathleen's like the thing this episode really fucking shined in was Henry and Sam.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything that was going on with them
I
and
like the fact that like
getting to know them.
so for a second I thought it was gonna be that Henry was like actually a Fedra agent or whatever, but like turns out he's a collaborator. So like I like the fact that he's kind of shitty and doesn't know how to do a lot of things. Like he feels like a civilian in a fucking thing, and he acknowledges that to Joel. But like I like that it remains consistent. Like he doesn't dome people or anything. He's like kind of a shitter and like doesn't
to
know what he's
the
doing.
to the point where he like made another stupid move, which was oh, I threatened you with an unloaded gun, when meanwhile if Joel had even remotely figured that out, he probably would have grabbed
Well, no,
Sam and
well, no.
taken him hostage as well.
Well, no. The idea is that like that was to get the conversation started.
Right.
The actual leverage was, dude, I know the city.
That's fair.
Like that's why like I agree that it is weird that he's like, oh, I'm not loaded, but it's like, yeah, but that's not the threat anymore. The threat is actually getting
Right.
out. We're not so different, I and you. Um, yeah, and obviously, like fuck, like it is this weird thing where I'm kind of expecting it to kind of fuck with my expectations. I was almost kind of hoping that they would survive to kind of throw the vibe off. You know what I mean?
Oh no, no, that was never gonna happen.
Like,
I can't.
like,
Well, no,
they can like they could go to Wyoming. They don't have to do the thing, and it's like the thing's starting to happen. I was like, no, her blood is magic. Come on, let's do it.
I was kind of worried, like, oh no, please don't have Ellie, like, actually, like, with her rubbing her blood on the wound, please don't actually have that work.
Yeah.
I'm begging you, show.
Yeah, if it worked, it would have been way worse. But yeah,
I would.
like, I appreciate the like desperate attempt to like with like your childish naivete to like
Yeah,
try.
like good try, Ellie. But thank you, show,
But
for
also
not
just
making,
at the
not
end
letting
when
that
she leaves the
work.
thing on the graves, like I'm sorry because like for reasons that are very well established, she feels like she failed him
Mm-hmm.
because other people have told her that she's a magic fucking cure person.
Yeah, her blood is magic. And yeah, like I said, it was rough.
Uh,
It it was really well done in the show. So like I'm good because I'm about to compare it to the game in a really unfair way, but I feel like what they gave us in this show was really good. Like everything about it, like seeing because seeing Henry, like they gave basically Henry a little bit more time to like digest what he did, and like yeah, it was really well done and executed. Like you see like the desperation and like the freaking out and like that. Pedro actually got a good chance to act for once. And like you could see like he's very sympathetic. He knows what's about to happen. And he's trying to like play it down.
Also, a kind of a decent shot with Bella Ramsey, like, reacting to Henry shooting himself.
Yeah. In the game, if you don't guys don't remember, uh, when the shot happens, Henry's body doesn't even hit the ground. It goes black,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to the next chapter. I feel I'm not saying that this was bad. I'm saying that I feel like the game did it a little bit more shockingly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because
You-
I'm trying to
as-
remember, like, how was it almost 1-to-1 on how the sequence went, because I could have sworn Ellie
they gave,
killed
yeah, no, they
Sam.
gave no. Henry kills Sam, and exactly what happens. Like Joel tries to save Ellie, or Henry shoots at him, telling him basically fucking stop. But then he comes to his senses and realizes what the fuck's happening, and like logic takes over, and he does what he's supposed to do. But the second it hits him that what he had to do, he puts the gun to his head. Like it's and like I said, it cuts to black. Like you don't see anybody's reactions or anything. It's just like boom, they're gone now, and it's like ooh. Like I feel
Yeah,
like that stings a lot harder than like having them like react and having a slow thing. But that could be a subjective thing. Do you guys feel like I'm way off with that?
uh, I think it definitely creates a different vibe by lingering and having them be buried and the I'm sorry as opposed to just the hard cut.
Well, even the way they do it in the moment where you have Ellie reacting to the gunshot noise and it kind of lingers on her face for a little bit before we cut to the funeral scenes. Like, it's very much clear in the language they're using with the camera. What this is about narratively is the effect this is going to have on her. And I think that the way they did it in the show really fucking nails that in a lot harder than the hard cut we got in the game would.
Yeah, like I guess you're right. It like gives more chance for like to show that Ellie is like trying to deal with this.
Also, just showing that that is kind of the point. Like, that's the thing we're supposed to really notice or pay attention to.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, man, like I said, after we got recording, man, the fucking media change did not make that moment any easier to digest. That moment, fucking, it's not great.
Yeah, no,
See,
I
like,
was,
yeah.
I was very.
This is probably the most
uncomfortable.
emotionally affecting episode we've seen so far. Like,
Oh,
it's some good shit.
I know, but like, oh boy, Last of Us doesn't fucking like Last of Us.
Yeah, we've a ways to go.
Yeah, we got. Oh boy, we got some
But
money.
if
Oh,
they
yeah.
keep this quality up for the rest of the season, like, even though we do have problems with things here and there, overall, this is shaping up pretty good.
Yeah. Like,
Well, you haven't had a repeat of episode fucking two's major hyper cringe yet.
So I did want to address that. Um, because fuck this person that was in the EFAP comments. If you're listening,
Oh no.
so we were told that the kiss isn't inconsistent with anything in the show thus far. To be fair, it's kind of right, but
Eh.
hang on. With this, I feel like it completely invalidates the kiss because Ellie was approaching Sam in a friendly way, in a non-threatening way. So the fact that he goes all crazy shambler and tries to fucking horribly murder her instead of being slow and thoughtful like the fucking kisser was, like,
Well,
like that completely fucks that whole fucking analogy.
it does, and it does even before that exact example. Like that noise I made, it's because not just as an infection vector, but also just as a thing that the zombos do as part of their behavior, it doesn't really track because they don't react to Ellie. The whole point of being immune to the disease is that you can have it in your body, but it won't survive. Your body is able to handle it. She, at all times, pretty much, has some of it in her.
Yeah, and to the point where we see like when she got scanned, it pops red. She's
Yeah.
infected.
But her body's able to fight it off.
Yeah.
Similar to how just like you never really get rid of flu, your body just develops antibodies. So even though it's still in the air, you're still breathing that shit in. You're still getting influenza into your body. You just fight it off. It doesn't bother you. You never notice
Yeah.
until the new strain comes out, and then you're fucked.
Mm. So
It
yeah,
is fuck the kiss. It just it's
fuck
not
yes,
it.
it's fucking stupid. It is now fucking stupid. Like there's no defense for that fucking kiss now. It's fucking there to be creepy and fucking weird, fetishy. It's all because of Neil Druckmann. There's no reason for that kiss to be there.
And it does not help also that we know meta shit that's connected to it. It's
No, but the thing is, what I'm saying, this episode cements that it's not.
Oh yeah, it's not consistent.
If it was consistent, like hear me out. This is gonna be creepy, but if it was consistent, Sam would try to get on Ellie as opposed.
No,
to
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's not consistent. Ergo, that fucking kiss was pointless, and they're just for fetish bullshit. It's fucking stupid, and it bothers the fuck out of me. How many people?
No, I hear what you're saying. I just hate that you're saying it.
Yeah.
Because ew.
Yeah, ew. It's fucking terrible. It's disgusting. Why am I having to have a discussion? It shouldn't fucking be there. Fuck you, Neil. God damn it.
It is just once again showing like, yeah, Neil Druckmann is an actual creep.
And like I said, it's more so that pissing me off is the running defense for it. Why would you defend that? Sorry, I'm like heated and mad because it actually bothers me how many people are like, oh, it's okay, and you know, it's fine, it's not inconsistent with the fucking way they act. It's like, Fuck you. Literally go fuck yourself. This episode completely validates my point. That was only there to be fucking creepy.
And not, well, yes, but not in the way that it should be. Like, it's zombie behavior, it's body horror, it's there to be like fucking gross and oh no, zombie, this is really, really bad.
Yeah.
But like, it's creepy in an actual real life. Oh no, the person who made this actually has kind of fucked up ideas of what a
Again,
peaceful death looks like for someone as their
yeah, and
body is
it's like
invaded.
we gave her a way out. That's like that article still haunts me.
And so, like, here's the thing: it's like we are consistent because whenever Quentin Tarantino shows a foot on the screen, we go, "Ew, that's gross. Why are you doing that? Is it because you have a foot fetish? Why the fuck is it in your fucking movie?"
Doesn't Dust
So
Till Dawn
it's
pretty much confirm it because he just has a foot just jammed in his fucking mouth?
no fucking. I just as much, I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but like that is like the prime example because
Oh yeah,
Margot Robbie just puts her dirty fucking feet in the camera for no fucking reason. Like it's like I said, it's gross. It's fucking stupid. I kind of hate that you're showing your fucking fetish off. Fucking make a deep fake like all us fucking adults do it and do it in private. So yeah, that's my thing on the kiss. Like I'm not gonna be moved now that this fucking episode validates that. I can't wait to see that somebody would say it's like, well, there still is more time to kind of do it. Like you know what I mean? I feel like that's a fucking argument that's actually gonna be made, and I'm like,
Well, that's if somebody says like, "Oh, it might be okay because they might do it more." I don't know that that's going to be more standing to their point that they hope it will be.
yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm
Meanwhile, they just have that smile from that picture I shared earlier.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I can't think of a good steel man of that fucking thing existing. You know what I mean?
There's none. It's
Like
because there's none.
there's no reason for it, and now it's invalidated by the show. So fuck you.
There were some like to just point out like tiny moments that I appreciated. I liked Pedro Pascal's little glances whenever Ellie would share like too much information.
Yeah, like him, like why the fuck you telling him where we're going? Yeah, it's a cool touch. And like
The
the fact that he doesn't like scream at her or anything, he just shoots her the look. Like he doesn't like you shouldn't say that. Like you get that just from nonverbal communication. Yeah, talking.
yeah.
It's other than the things it doesn't, it does a lot of things well so
Yes.
far. You
Yes.
know, I am actually enjoying watching the show overall.
Yeah.
So would we say that this show just got off to a rocky start and now we're somewhat enjoying it?
Wouldn't even
Or
say it got off to a rocky start. Like episode one was
that's
okay.
that's fair. Yeah, we hit a major bump, stumbled for a good second, and then now we're back on
Well,
track.
yeah, I mean, we said this during coverage of episode 2 that the reason it was so annoying is because we started off really apprehensive of the show. Like, we were pretty sure it was going to be shit. And then episode 1 was like, huh,
Yeah, it was pretty good.
okay, that's not bad. You know, let's keep going. Then most of episode 2 is like, oh my God, yeah, they're actually like really landing the things that they want to land. And oh my God, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then episode 3, mostly really good, little things here and there. I wasn't there for the coverage, but you guys pretty much made the major swings I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, mostly enjoyable. And then episodes 4 and 5, both of them pretty fucking good.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel like we were talking about Devil May Cry before. It's like, yeah, we got Devil May Cry 1, 3, 4, 5.
And then
just
episode
to
2.
just to double
What?
check for the audience, Isler, do you not have anything to add for the episode 3 stuff? We really did. Just we got everything.
Nothing major off the top of my head.
Any like
Although, actually, there's something that from that episode kind of ties into episode 4, which is that weird shit that Ellie was doing in the basement with the zombie. I think it wasn't clear in the episode or during that scene what the fuck they were doing with that. But then when it comes to episode 4, when she has to shoot someone, you can see that it's still a very big deal to her. And she kind of like explains a little bit. It's like, it's not the first time that I've had to hurt somebody. But also, you can just kind of see like growing up in this world, being a kid in such a violent place, she's got some fucking some baggage going on there. Like she's grown up having to be accustomed to seeing violence. So when she sees the zombie pinned, like her instinct isn't like revulsion. Oh my god, kill it immediately. It's huh. This is a natural part of the world I know. I'm going to investigate it. Like a
She
normal kid would investigate like a burnt out car in a field or something.
she was really lucky that the other half of that one wasn't connected to anything.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
thing that I can't wait for never to come up again. But
No, it'll never be addressed.
never. Oh no, it was addressed in this episode. See, what you didn't know is that the house they crashed into was actually part of the network. And so when
Shut
the
up.
house got hit, they downloaded a code to the bloater sub boss routine. And then it was like, oh, okay, time to organize the boys and let's go.
There was a raid alert in chat.
Yeah, it was like, yep, let's go. Like poggers. And all the clickers like, yo.
Yeah, the bloater signed up. Like the bloater signed up for the raids. Like, yeah, we got a tank. Let's do this. Yeah.
Bunch of clickers in the background doing Fortnite dances.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, yeah, they got a proper team this time. Like they got like a good like size, but yeah, they had a tank for the raid as well. He did a really weird thing though. Like I feel like they're gonna talk to him later about that. Like he didn't lead, because tanks are supposed to be like up front, and like he waited for like 90% of them to go first.
Yeah, it's like you could be a bit faster on the draw, but our DPS was doing fantastic. So yeah, I think
like,
it was still
so
good job.
Going back to that setup, I felt like the implication was it was the bloater like doing the digging and shit like that.
No fucking way.
But
no,
but you know,
not a
like,
shot.
well, because like
It wasn't a bloater, it was a digger.
Well, no, but like, did you see the fucking like no, but like showing that storage room, like all that concrete just going like it has like a fucking thing. It's like, oh, there's something big under there, and it's like, oh, it's just a bloater. It's like, oh, okay, I guess. I was like, yeah, I was.
They set up the shit with the tunnels well enough that I don't think we have to infer digging.
I guess. So that house was connected to the tunnels.
It was connected to something. Jesus Christ.
Bloater.exe.
Yeah, true. It's the network.
I
Man.
guess I'm wondering, like, would the
machine.
clickers even be like the idea that they herded them underground? I'm wondering, like, okay, how logistically could they have done that?
Well, he didn't say he herded them. He said he forced them. So basically, I either lured them down and killed any that weren't following the fucking lore.
Yeah.
So basically, and then just contained the situation.
Okay.
He wrote a really sternly worded letter to the HOA.
No, see, here's the thing. So, so the what are they called? Fedra. So Fedra, they sent out Commissioner Gordon, and they sent him to the hospital, and they were like, Bane's in the sewers. So all of the mushrooms were like, Bane's in the sewers. We got to fucking get everyone, send them out and fuss them out. So they did that, and then they were like, ha, you fucking idiot mushrooms, and they fucking collapsed all the buildings and and they couldn't get out.
This lore makes more sense than what we were presented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, the thing.
Like I said, overall ratings for episodes 4 and 5, I feel like
better than 2 and 3.
I'll probably give it like a 6 or 7. I was actually
It's pretty positive overall. Definitely a few issues.
Yeah, Kathleen ruins it, but everything else.
Well, and the mushrooms ex machina is a little bothersome for me.
That's what I said, 6 or 7. I'm not going.
I just want to start inserting Kathleen into just other films now. Like put her in Die Hard. You're not gonna take this Nakatomi Plaza.
She's in the council. This attack on my life has left me disfigured. I now form a new galactic empire.
I love how over the course of this coverage, she's gradually turned into Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, sorry, I guess that's true.
I was either thinking that or she's just turned into Stay Puft.
Huh? I'm gonna kill you, black people. Huh?
That's right, keep running, you blacks.
Adam, the line was get back here.
Come here, you damn darky.
Oh, yeah. What was her name? Melina? Melina, the line was get back here. Sorry. For those who don't know, you should type in Adam Driver Black Klansman scene, and you'll probably get it. But what he says is legendary, and I love it. But like, there's a comment in the fucking in down below that says like, it's just director Adam. The line was, "Get back here, black guy." You didn't have to go that hard, bro.
Adam, the line was, "Sir, you forgot your phone."
I just love the fucking inserting of it into The Force Awakens, where like the TIE fighter's going out.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver in a flannel. The fact that like he's in a flannel, but they do see people who make like YouTube poops and memes nowadays, they're fucking god tier at their editing. Because if you watch that video, he has the lighting of the hanger on him. Like they changed his color of his model to make it fit more. And it's like, dude. Like, it's like
it's why one of our favorite channels or the very least one of my favorite channels is that Warhammer shit posting thing where it just inserts like Alex
Barry
Jones
Waltz.
over over the
There's another
fucking
one, too.
Tom
Like,
something.
There's like 3 of them, but like there's one that turned Asmongold into like the cleanest.
Oh my god, I fucking love that one.
Always Sunny on Terra is like my absolute favorite though, because it just
Okay, we are like officially like we're in the weeds. All
right, yeah.
Are we done?
We're done. Yeah.
We should
overall thoughts.
go shit posting.
Give us some numbers. What do you think? Wyatt?
I'm happy to give them 6 and 7 respectively. I think even though there's a lot of flaws in episode 5, some of the things it lands well. It lands them really fucking well.
I think I am comfortable with a 7, because at least Kathleen got her comeuppance.
Well, Ninja, what would you say for 4 and 5?
Great talk.
I hate you. I hate you so much. But yeah, I feel like it was overall positive. I'm kind of excited to see the next episode because I'm kind of hopeful for how good it is. And fuck you, Slur, for saying that my hope was dashed. God damn it, a broken clock is right twice a day. So
if
this is one of the good ones.
Yeah, if this show finishes standing, like if it sticks the landing, Max will probably go approve.
Approved. But of course,
and then season 2 will come out. It's golfing time, boy.
Then will come out, and I'll be like, "Look at you!
Yeah,
you've fallen so far. Leave now and never return."
I wonder if they'll get Henry Cavill to play Fat Geralt.
Please.
I wonder if they'll get Henry Cavill to play fucking Abby.
Please.
Bruh.
All right, guys.
Make season 2 just a meme.
Yeah, I'm here.
What would you rate 4 and 5?
I would say we're getting into 6 and 7 territory. It's still got some issues, but it's definitely better than most of the stuff that's out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I definitely think 2 and 3 were the weak points of the show, and I'm glad we're kind of past that and over that, and hopefully heading in a more positive direction. But
we'll see.
We'll see how it continues on. How many episodes is the first season? 9, 8 or 9?
Oh shit! I remember being told 10.
This is the halfway point, though, right?
Hold on.
I'm saying, but like, think about the story, because the next bit is they go to Tommy, and then after Tommy is the university.
9.
After university is the cannibals, and then after that is the final stretch to the hospital.
9 episodes, so we're more than past the halfway point.
I don't think we're going to be able to wrap up the entire story in this first season.
We are going incredibly slow.
Unless they start skipping entire sections.
Dude, if they skip the cannibals, that's a really
what I mean is, like, if they were going to complete the entire first game, episode 6 would have to be all of the Tommy stuff. 7 would have to be would that be the cannibals next?
No, the
university.
They go to the university, and that's when Joel gets hurt, and that's
right. So then you'd have the entire next episode would be all the cannibals, and then you'd have basically the finale would be the hospital stage. So you'd have to divide each one of those parts into one episode or less.
Well, I think you could cut up. Well, no, cutting up the walk up to the hospitals. Well, I guess you could do that. Because before the hospital was the giraffes, and the giraffes was a really fucking beautiful moment.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
gonna have
what
that
you
for sure.
Yeah.
I think you could combine. Okay, if you absolutely have to shorten time, Tommy and the university could be one episode.
No. Tommy is a major character, and we're building up to Tommy.
That's fair,
Tommy
actually.
is
Yeah,
Joel's entire fucking
yeah.
motivation.
Tommy's gonna have
They
a whole
cannot
episode to
shorten
himself. That's fair. Yeah.
Mm.
So they're either gonna make up the walk up to the hospital, or they're gonna make university shorter.
Well, the walk up to the hospital was just an action scene. If you remember, that was when you fought the most infected at one time. In fact, you had to take care of 2 bloaters at once. So they could just remove that because they kind of have been removing like combat sections. Like there hasn't really been like the turret scene with the sniper rifle. That was like
Yeah.
a thing from the show. But other than that, it's been pretty much removed of all the action from the actual games, which I'm not complaining about, but it's just what they're doing.
I just feel like if you break each of those down into one episode or less, you're really gonna be fucking with the pacing at that point.
Yeah.
And like I said, some of the biggest moments are coming up. In the first game, the Tommy shit isn't really all that like big of a deal, but like
But the
way
show's hyped him up
the way
quite a
the
lot.
show is hyping him up, it has to be a big deal. They could just shorten the university, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
university is just a big combat fucking section, so they could just. I feel like that would fuck with the pacing though, because like I said, what happens after the university is a major event, and then you see the rabbit.
Pew!
You're gonna make. Why do I have a
I
feeling?
fucking love that meme, dude.
Why do I have a feeling that once that's
good,
if that happens in the fucking show, why do I have a feeling you're
show,
gonna make me edit that
10 out
together?
of 10. It's the best show ever fucking made.
You're just
Yeah,
gonna
they gotta do the meme.
Dude,
They're like, you're just gonna make me like, all right, edit the lady. That's so
I want the
cute.
fucking sound effect in there though.
Like when the bunny rabbit gets hit, it's not like a skink like when the bunny gets hit. It's like the sick of the hit. Like that's how okay, yeah. Thanks, guys. Sorry, spoilers for the upcoming shows. But yeah, y'all have a good one. Jog on and whatnot and all that shit.